Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest. We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it? He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
Yo, what up? Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Let me get this right real quick. I don't like that color. How's everybody doing, man? I hope all is well. Happy Tuesday. Shout outs to my writers, my poets. You know who you are. I see you in the building, Miss Adrian. Much love to you. City, I'm about to bring you up. You know, I got a video. I got the video. I have the raw video, but I have another version of it. Y'all see the title. You know what this is about to be about. Do me a solid. Repost, share, let the people know we're on. We got some things to discuss. Sydney, what's up?
Unmute myself. All right. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Right as I was going on, I realized that I'm already in Halloween style, I guess. But I know a lot of people love Halloween, so I guess they can't complain.
Cheers to season, I guess. It's been a while since I celebrated that thing. I don't even mess around with it no more, but you know, to each his own.
I like it for the fall and what it does in nature. Not so much. I don't particularly care for the decorations and candy and stuff, especially the cheap garbage, like the $5 stuff you can get at Walmart now. And when people get the sad plastic glowing decorations, I'm like, I guess, like you said, to each their own, but I hate plastic decorations with a seething passion, given what it does to the environment. You buy it to put up for 2 weeks out of the year, and then it eternally messes up the environment. So beautiful.
Yeah, look, I ain't knocking nobody. Y'all be safe out there. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all know where we are in 2025. This isn't what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? People are worse, and it's getting worse. So it's like, yeah, I'm a pass on that. But Y'all know why we here, man. I got a clip I'm gonna bring up. I'm gonna put it on the big screen. It's like 2 minutes. A tragic turn of events. A young lady leaves a country that is already under war, comes here to escape the damage and the death and the destruction and the ignorance, only to end up here and meet it again. Like, that is crazy to me. Did you get a chance to check out that backstory? Do you know a little bit about it?
I haven't yet, but I'm looking at it right now.
All right. Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up on the big screen. I'm gonna let it run because it's like, you know, like I said, it's like 2 minutes. My condolences to the family, her friends, and we'll just take it from there. But I'll give my initial thoughts afterwards.
Understand why North Carolina officials did not want to release the entire video of this Ukrainian immigrant who was stabbed while taking mass transit on August 22nd. And it's because the details of this case are tailor-made to show how badly policies have failed in cities. This photo is particularly chilling to me. This is after he stabbed her. She knew what happened. She sat there scared. This is after she was stabbed. He gets up and walks away, and everybody in the train doesn't rush to her aid, doesn't rush to apprehend him. They do nothing. Her last moments on Earth, she was surrounded by strangers who did nothing to help her. She's in pain, she's dying, she's scared, and nobody helped her. Then, as he was walking away from the scene of the crime, you can hear him say, "I got that white girl," before he exits the train. Brian Stelter is very mad that this is being racialized. Well, it turns out that the perpetrator actually racialized this crime. He was actually arrested for another violent crime, but he got out on cashless bail, which is something far leftists, especially in cities, have been pushing for lately. And the magistrate judge that let him off on cashless bail never passed the bar. And the leftist response to this seems to be, well, there's not enough social programs in order. We're talking about mental health. Sorry, but I am so sick of this being touted as a mental health crisis. Do you know what the mental health crisis is in this country? It's Americans who are completely complacent to public spaces being ceded to like mentally unstable schizophrenic people. And that this is just what living in cities is like. Having more empathy for the people who commit crimes than the victims of crimes. That's the mental health crisis. I don't take public transit anymore, but when I did, when I lived in downtown Minneapolis, I saw a cast of characters, thankfully was never stabbed. I don't know anybody who takes public transit who does not experience this all the time. Do you know that parks in cities used to be for families and for, you know, regular people to go enjoy? They weren't supposed to become drug dens for addicts to hang about all day. I'm sorry, but we have homeless programs, we have shelters, we have mental health programs, free healthcare for indigent people. Guess what? This keeps happening. It's because we're complacent to it happening. I'm still not over the school shooting that happened in my hometown 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And as soon as the media found out that the person at one point identified as trans said that this is an issue of people not treating trans people nice enough. Like at what point do we wake up and start having more empathy for the victims of these crimes than we do for the people who commit them? Once mainstream media finally started to cover this story, they covered it through the lens of conservatives pounce. Republicans are mad that this isn't being covered. Had Elon not bought Twitter, we never would have heard about this story. And there are other stories that happen like it. And they don't tell the story because it shows the failures and shortcomings of the normal progressive worldview in this country. My question is, because I don't think Democrats are going to reform themselves on this, what on earth are Republicans going to do about it? You can call in the National Guard. I think Trump should probably declare a national emergency on public transit, but that's a temporary solution. Why is there no conservative-led initiative to get all of these DAs and judges voted out who are consistently soft on crime? Where are the studies showing that extended drug use exacerbates this problem? How much longer are we going to be complacent? We now understand why North.
There you have it. Congratulations. We have failed on so many levels, it doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. Where do you want to start with this?
Well, first I want to address the family and friends of the individual who was lost in this incident, because clearly no matter what anyone says, it's a tragedy that somebody's life had to be taken, regardless of the reason. This should have never happened. So my condolences to her family and to anyone around her. Man, there's a lot to unpack there. I disagreed with a lot of what she said, but I didn't not agree with everything. Like there were some points that she made that I did agree with. I just didn't agree with where she attributed it to, which will make more sense as we get into the discussion. But overall, I'm having a hard time saying that this particular incident signifies something about society in general. I think more so the reaction to it, and also I'm less intrigued by the killer. I'm more intrigued by the people that stood around and did nothing, because I mean, these days, like, killers and crazy people are a dime a dozen. Like, we hear about it all the time. People killing their children, people killing their spouses, people killing their neighbor, their teacher for no reason at all. Like, just, I mean, we covered one a couple months ago, somebody randomly stabbing a sleeping woman on a train. So, like, I'm not surprised by his actions. I'm not surprised by what he said. We have so many racial crazy people out there, racially motivated crazy people out there. We have so many people that are not racially motivated and are just straight crazy. So again, it stood out to me more the people that didn't do anything to help her, because to me, that is very anti-American. It really should be considered anti-American, because you'd think that as a country that touts itself as a place that values human dignity and lives and respect and all that stuff, human freedom, you'd think that we'd actually try and be there for one another when somebody's freedom is at threat of being taken. And yeah, so I just find that very appalling. And that is more indicative of where we are as a country than the event itself was, I think. But that being said, it does also bring up the conversation of mental health services and everything that's needed in society to prevent this type of stuff from happening more frequently. And then also questions that she brought up about public spaces and transportation, which are also pertinent issues, but I don't think it's the cause. I think they're just, as I said yesterday, like a symptom of a bigger problem. But overall, that's my take for now.
I'm highly disappointed in the citizens of these here United States. Very disappointed, because we live in this, I'm going to mind my business, I don't got nothing to do with this, I don't want this coming back on me attitude. But in the same breath, you are the same people who want your communities to be safe. You want to be able to walk the street at night without worrying about somebody robbing you. You choose the bear. The bear is safer than the man, or men are supposed to automatically just assume a position of tradition that it says that they're automatically supposed to jump in front of the moving train and sacrifice themselves for women, kids, and pretty much anybody who cannot really defend themselves. And then I look at the Constitution. I look at what our forefathers sat there and signed. All of the conversations that suggested or was supposed to suggest that we are a nation of unity, that we stand under God, under his principles, under his teachings, that we actually abide by certain laws that make freedom here that much more special. And unfortunately, I'm not seeing it. I haven't seen it in a long time, actually, a very long time. We're very hypocritical. We're very antagonistic. We troll way too much. The idea, and mind you guys, the video here doesn't show you what I saw. It shows you just enough. He sits behind her. She sits down. She's calm. She doesn't think anything's going on. He sees her. He kind of just lays his head against the window, and then he goes inside of his hoodie. He pulls out a pocket knife. He cuffs it to his side. And then he gets up. He goes around, and you see the people that's sitting there at the train. Nobody does anything. How am I supposed to believe in a nation that doesn't even believe in the nation? Those are my initial thoughts. One thing that I want to address too that we didn't touch. The woman that released him prior to this, I have a real beef with that. Because if I'm not mistaken, based on what this woman just said, the judge or whoever this wasn't even qualified or in a position to even do what she did in the first place. So now we got people in positions of power that shouldn't be in them, practicing law, serving out justice. And you got the people complaining about it, not really being about what they're complaining about. I yield the mic.
How do I want to start with this? I think one of the things that I found interesting from her analysis, just from her perspective, is how much she attributed it to the left, when unironically, I guess, in my opinion, the right currently is the one that's pushing to repeal a lot of different regulations that were keeping people safe. And some of the stuff that they do propose wouldn't be effective in the particular scenarios that they think they would be effective for, such as, metal detectors. I know that's one solution that's been proposed left and right, and those are not going to be adequate for outdoor situations, which is what a lot of these are. Like, for example, public transportation. It would be very expensive to either hire somebody to stand at a bus station and metal detector every single person that will come through and use the buses. And it also doesn't make a lot of sense anyways, because as we saw, he wasn't even using the thing is they always say that it's guns, but it's not just guns, it's just weapons in general. What they found in Britain is once they banned guns, the crime didn't really change, the method changed. It's just people switched from using guns to using knives, and stabbings went up. And ironically, stabbings are more fatal than gunshot wounds because of the manner of how it affects the body. Like when you have a stab wound, especially when you have a stab wound to organs, it's much harder to put the pieces back together than it is with a bullet, because I think it has something to do with like when a bullet goes through, it'll like kind of cauterize stuff and it won't do as much like slicing damage. I watched something on it a while ago, so I'm kind of rusty on the details, but I do remember learning that stab wounds are typically more dangerous. So that is something we have to consider. Not saying that we should just legalize guns across the board so people don't use knives, but it is a repercussion that we have to keep in mind if there are there are places that start to pull back on their gun allowances, especially because they're reconsidering the Second Amendment. I heard about it in the news. I don't know how far it's going to go, but they are talking about messing with the Second Amendment. Granted, this is very new, so I don't exactly know all the details of that, but I do know that it is on the table. So that would be very ironic if it was the Republicans that repealed our rights to guns when they've been the ones promoting that for forever.
I don't think gun control alone is going to be enough to stop what we're dealing with. If a person has enough hatred and anger and wickedness in their heart, it does not really make a difference if it's a gun or a knife or a taser or a 5-inch 6x6 pole. Where we're at right now, the real core problem here has to be defined a little more deeper and addressed further. Public safety has always been an issue, especially with transportation. Getting on these buses, trains, people are getting bolder and bolder. People are pushing people in front of trains. We just did a video on a man setting a woman on fire on the train. Like, the level of wickedness that is running rampant out here is alarming. And the amount of people who just take their camera out and record. You want TikTok likes and videos and clicks, and where's your heart at? Where's the compassion at?
That's something that has become a problem. I've even heard paramedics and like 911 operators commenting on this before and telling stories that involve this, where because of our attachment to technology, sometimes if there's a health event or like somebody's been injured, obviously they'll need care, and nobody will step up to do the CPR, do whatever that person needs to do. And I've heard 911 calls where the 911 operators like, please, anybody do something, like do compressions, do mouth to mouth, like please somebody help this man, or get like, if you can't give this phone to somebody who is willing to help this person. And I like, there's some really heart-wrenching calls where they can't do anything, and everyone's just standing around like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to, or just like not even responding. And like, I don't know if it's like mental overload, or if it's just like you're so focused on whatever's happening in your head or something. Like, I can't understand it, because I feel like if I was in that situation, I wouldn't be able to just stand there. Like, my brain would be like, you need to do something. But I've also been in a lot of situations that have involved the need. Like, I've had to resuscitate animals before. I've had to do like medical care on people in situations and stuff. So I don't understand how you can watch somebody be hurt or die in front of you and you not do anything. Like, I get haunted if I can't like, when I was like 8, I accidentally drowned my guinea pig when I was giving it a bath, and I tried to save it, but I couldn't, and it haunted me for a very long time that I was not able to revive the guinea pig or like save him. And I can't imagine doing that to a person where you just don't even try. You just stare at them as that happens. Yeah.
I want to know how a person who has a history of similar crimes have the opportunity to walk free. Like, how is it that you see this information in front of you as a judge and think that this person is reformed or they have enough soul or enough common sense within them now compared to 2 weeks ago that would allow them to be back on the street?
I honestly feel like it's more so job overload. Like, I truthfully think that with a lot of these cases, they're just kind of like perusing the article. They're not actually properly going through every single case and reading the details. They're probably just like flip, flip, flip. All right, next. Flip, flip, flip. All right, sign that next. And I don't really have a lot of faith that the justice system, the governmental system as a whole, really put a lot of thought into what they're doing. Like the IRS, the DMV, the court system, all of them. Like, I just think they're so overworked, overstaffed, underpaid, underqualified that most of these people are not doing their job effectively. Like, it's not just like fast food workers and stuff that slip up. There are professional officials that also slip up. But when fast food workers mess up, you don't get ketchup on your burger. But when an IRS official messes up, you might end up owing $200,000 extra on your taxes. So it's I think we're going to start seeing, and have already been seeing, a rapid decline in the regulation of all of the offices that run things behind the scenes for us because of all of the declines in companies' income, our ability to spend. Like, there's so many issues right now that are really affecting jobs and our everyday Americans' ability to pay things. So we're going to see a loss of a lot of these services, and we're probably going to start seeing an increase in crimes just like what we're seeing here. Because when you have a loss of these services, you have an increase in crimes. And that is the one thing that she does get right in this video, is that this is showing the inadequacies of our system. That she said that we have enough services. We definitely don't have enough services for the homeless population, not nearly. We also need a ton more medical offerings for people that are struggling both with mental illness, with addiction issues, with homelessness. We do not care for the needy like we should. We do not offer the services that they need. We absolutely have to be providing housing, because that is I'd really say the largest component of the issue, followed by healthcare access. and then followed by community, having people around you create, like, we collectively are what create a positive community, a positive town. Like, the community members themselves are the ones that generate a city, a town that is welcoming, that is loving, that is open, that is creating opportunities. That, like, it is us. It's not some magical, like, governmental office that magically makes the city, like, more beautiful if we have more money. Like, it's us that does it. We create it by by being there for our neighbors, and by asking for programs, demanding programs that protect and serve the community members, especially the ones that don't have access to resources on their own. We are the ones that choose who's running our towns and our cities and our counties and states. So we're the ones that have to make those decisions, because very clearly the people from the top are not doing that. We probably at this point all know at least one homeless person, like, personally. We probably all know at least one person who's addicted to a substance. We probably all know somebody who has a mental illness. This is a problem that affects everyone, and we have to be part of the solution, because people who are mentally ill, people that are dealing with addiction, people who are dealing with homelessness do not get better and get out of those situations by being isolated and by being abandoned by the people around them. Facts show it, science shows it, real life shows it. Being there for people that are struggling helps them, because they need scaffolding. They need people to help guide them, because they're in a state where they might not be able to make the right decisions. But we need to love them and care for them, because oftentimes addiction and mental illness comes from the underlying feeling that you're not cared about, that you're not loved, that nobody wants you around. And by us ostracizing those very people, it's not, obviously, we're just going to be doing more damage. So we really, really have to start rebuilding community in a way that allows these disadvantaged communities to actually have access to the communities themselves. Because that's what we do. Like, we create communities for them away from everyone else, but we need to include them into the communities. So that's why I really bristled at what she said, because she made it seem like an us versus them. Like, those public spaces were for us, not them, but now it's being taken over by addicts. I'm like, no, they're going there because that's the only space left available to them. That is the only place that they can go that they won't be arrested right away. And they'll still get arrested once if they stay there long enough, but they aren't going to, like, they can be there. It's not 2-hour parking. It's not somebody's property. Like, they can actually get a nap there potentially, or maybe find some food in the garbage. So it's not like they want to be in those spaces. They would much rather have a home like the rest of us. So I think she is right that it is a systemic issue, but I think that we need to be less hostile towards them and a lot more welcoming and Jesus-like, as we all promote.
I absolutely agree. Full throttle with all of that. What I want to do real quick, because I said I was going to start implementing this part into the streams. I want to show some love to another one of these artists, man. Shout out to Chef. I did this earlier with him. I want to give a shout out to Squish Arcana. This brother makes beats, and I think dude's pretty dope. So we're going to take a quick intermission. I'm going to bring up him on a big screen, and then we're going to proceed with the rest of the show. Shout outs to everybody that's in the building. I appreciate that for tuning in. This is a sad situation. again, my heart goes out to the people. Yeah, let me bring this up real quick, and then we'll resume with the show. Shout outs to Squish Arcana on YouTube. Big screen.
Yeah, this Slim Road's cool. That way hit this. Let me talk my shit. She think like Texas, ass sitting like a Chevy do. Thighs pressed together like they money in the revenue. Soft, bushy, solid, tall, bad, got an attitude. Told her bring it here, let me grab it like a parachute. Never been ashamed of that weight, let her feel it. Make a broke bitch insecure cause she killin'. Waist ain't snatched, but that ass unmatched. When she step in the spot, got them all looking back. Big body band, she ain't riding in no Civic. If you scared of thick women, stay your ass about the kitchen. Cornbread fed, got that bounce when she strut. Confidence loud, whole city know what's up. She thick like Texas body, say it right. Brown skin glowing in that neon light. She ain't never fall, nah, she ain't never break. Beauty in abundance, let that marinate. Told her sit it on my lap, let me handle that. Make a player wanna write his name, where the dimples at. Ain't no tummy tuck, shorty all natural. Stretch marks on her thighs, that's a tiger crown. She a self-made queen, got her own, that's a fact. But she still let a real one rub on the back. Soft hands, but she hustle like a trap star. She ain't gotta flex, everybody knows she top bar. Big thighs rugged when she walk, that's a feature. Body like a servant, got me trying to be a preacher. No, she ain't no side dish, only the entree. Said she independent, make her own, that's beyond straight. She think like Texas body, say it right. Brown skin glowing in that neon light. She ain't never fall, nah, she ain't never break. Beauty in abundance, let that marinate. Yeah, I see the way they hate on things. Women try to shame something, right? Let's go. Told her let them talk, shorty, give them something to watch.
Shout outs to Squish Arcana, man. Much love, much love, much love. I'm gonna always give my flowers out to the people who've been rocking with me, man. No doubt about that. If y'all want to go check him out, it's Squish Arcana. Squish Arcana. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing this a lot more. I'm trying to do interviews. I'm trying to lock in with a lot of artists, man. Just trying to show love, man. Underground, they don't get the same respect that most of these industry people do. So this is my way of paying it forward. Back to the actual subject at hand. So we have a group of people who said it's not my business. I'm gonna let you pretty much bleed to death on this train. My hands are tied. Then we have a system that continuously allows and prioritizes one thing over another. You know that a lot of these men and women that you're releasing back into the public are dangerous, or they have the potential to cause harm, yet and still, because of your hands being tied or You're being lazy. You're not really trying to do your due diligence to ensure that these people are properly addressed according to their crime. Now we have more individuals out here walking around freely with mental illnesses, et cetera, just being able to do what they want. So you got people who don't care enough to get these people off the street. And then on top of that, we're trying to address and attack homelessness. We're trying to address mental illness. How do we address any of this? Like the very fact that you can sit here, you're nothing but 6 feet, maybe 5 feet away from this woman, and you mean to tell me you're that close to him, you don't even turn around? You wait and let this man get up off the train. He taunts her. Oh, and I want to address this too. I want to just put this on the record. This still has nothing to do with race for me. This is a case-by-case situation. At any given moment, anybody can crash out and snap. The man who set the woman on fire on that train, he wasn't black. All right. He was from an entirely different country. The illegal immigrant that was living with his cousin out here in Maryland, he killed a 19-year-old black girl. He wasn't black. He was from a whole entirely different country. And the only reason I'm saying that is, let's stop creating narratives or making it look like it's one thing when really this is the totality of a culmination of variations. Like there's just people who are just foul out here, man. You got people who don't got it all together in their head.
I was going to add, statistically, the majority of crimes are actually crimes of opportunity, where the person just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. They just happened to be in a spot that the criminal was like, okay, right, this is the perfect moment for me to do whatever I'm going to do. Especially in the cases where the person does not know the person that they had killed. So I also agree. I think that a lot of the cases that they're like, oh, this is racially motivated because either one person was one color and the other person was the other color, or in this case, like he said, oh, I got that white girl. Just because somebody describes, like, labels them that doesn't mean that's why they perpetrated that crime, and that was the reason why. Like, it, to me, it is just like a descriptor rather than an indication of anything that he was thinking, I guess. I don't know. I feel like if it was actually racially motivated, he would have announced it as he was doing that crime. Like, he would have said it going in, like saying insults to her, slurs about her. Like, he probably would have said specifically out loud that, like, oh, this is because you're an immigrant. This is because you're Ukrainian. So yeah, I don't think that this was racially motivated. I think that majority of the time when people are like, oh yeah, this is racially motivated, it's the newspaper, the news media trying to get more ratings for their story. They're just trying to get people to get enraged because people that are upset pay more money to read your stuff.
He did say, I got that white girl in the video. He did say that that's what was recorded. But like my whole point was, like, I'm not saying whether or not this was driven off of that. I'm just saying, like, in general, when somebody gets killed or they're in that situation, I know we like to stereotype a lot. Oh, is another black person killing another black person? The media shows you what the media wants you to see. You're going to see a lot more black people killing people or being violent. Of course, you're going to see that. You're not going to see all the stuff that white people do, or Mexicans or Asians. You barely ever see anything about Asians doing anything. But my point is, anybody is capable of doing the same exact crime. It's not predominantly in one area or another, at least in my opinion. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm oblivious to it. This right here just irritated me because you know how much money we spend a week, a month to get on the train. You know, the fares go up damn near every month, every week, like how much that costs. You're making it extremely difficult for people to just save money. They're trying to save money, but they got to spend money to save money. So they don't want to drive and they want to get on a bus. Why the hell do anybody want to worry about somebody getting on there, potentially causing an issue that's going to cost somebody their life? I'm not paying y'all all this money, stressing out, for then not to have all the measures that could be possibly taken, implemented. What are you using the money for? Like, seriously, I absolutely don't think metal detectors are really the solution. I would love, like, you don't even put them in schools, which is weird to me. We keep getting all these school shootings and stuff like that. But what are we doing here? Especially, like, all right, Sydney, you are at the top of whatever they label the train thing. Like, you're the CEO, you're the big shot, and this is your particular part of where the location is. You constantly are getting reports and seeing news about people getting robbed and stabbed and this, that, and the third. How do you proceed forward? This is your brand. This is your company. These people are spending hundreds and thousands of dollars using your transportation. They could potentially sue you in result of things that are transpiring on your property. How do you move forward addressing the people who are saying, look, I'm not safe. Look, I got robbed on your train. I got robbed on this. This happened to me here. You're not doing nothing about it. How do you address disgruntled people? How do you address this issue that's happening in your territory?
It's a good question. I think one of the things that initially came to mind, which is ironic because I'm not totally for this aspect, but like increased surveillance would just be a natural response. Like, oh, we just need to be able to see more, which is kind of funny because technically seeing more doesn't mean the crimes are going to happen less. It might deter some people, but I feel like at a certain point, people don't even really realize that they're being filmed. People don't even really think about it unless they're like actually nervous about being caught. Like if you're either a seasoned criminal. Anyway, I think another thing would be making it harder for people who don't belong there to get on, like maybe make it a little bit more difficult to get in, kind of like airlines, where there's a very, very slim chance you're going to be able to get onto an airplane if you don't actually have a ticket, kind of like that. I also might have, I don't know, like some sort of emergency type system the bus driver can use. So if there is an incident, maybe they can use some sort of like, I don't know, either an alert or deterrent of some sort to keep the situation at bay until police can arrive. I don't know, like tear gas or something. I don't know, something non-dangerous but still irritating enough that it would stop the individual, maybe. But yeah, it is a very good question, and I think it would also be dependent on how much people are using public transportation, because it would be a lot harder to use this system on, say, like the New York subway, where hundreds of people are using those lines at any given minute. Whereas in California, like the long distance rails and stuff, you probably aren't really going to see that many people on the train. Sometimes it depends on like which areas you're in. But like Central Valley and some of the smaller towns, they're really not going to have as many people as you're going to see in like the big cities. But those would add complications. Because obviously if you have like hundreds of people getting on your train, it's going to be a lot harder to vet everyone. But I can understand why this would be a difficult issue to solve, especially if there's pushback. Because if you could just install whatever you wanted, it wouldn't be as difficult, I guess. But once you have the public coming in and being like, no, you can't have that, I don't want that, it does, I imagine it does make it harder to put those safety features in action.
See, here's my thing. At this point, don't tell me you don't have the money. You don't have the funds. Because I don't want to hear it. I don't believe you. The things that I've seen America spend money on, you're not broke. We might be in debt, but you're not broke.
People may get shot on our buses, but at least all of our bus drivers have a Labubu hanging on the mirror.
Right. Make that make sense. You know what I suggest, or at least it's just a thought. I don't know. It's just a thought. Put an officer on all bus routes. At least
they have like security guards.
I've never been on a bus where there's security. Me personally, I don't know if it's changed since, because I haven't been on a bus in like 20 years. So I don't know. But like my suggestion, hire more security, put more officers on these trains. You can put one, like, if you can't put them on every, at least assign a specific officer to a specific line. Like let them do the red or the orange, and then you kind of just rotate people out. Like there are things that you can do to at least minimize this stuff. Cameras are cool, but that only makes people want to figure out ways around the camera. So you need constant eyes, constant presence. Something that you had said I thought was also pretty dope. Make it like the airport. Like the airport, to me, is super protected. They have little things but it's never nothing major. Make it like that. Make it impossible for folks to get on these trains and off these trains with anything that could possibly, like, I truly believe that there are things that can be done that are logical, that are sensible, and cost effective. Y'all not broke.
Even like concerts and conventions do better.
That's
at
weird.
that.
That's wow. And I've never been to a concert because I always thought that's too many people around each other. Eventually, somebody is going to crash out, and it's going to turn. I always thought it was going to turn into like WrestleMania or something, and everybody was just going to start throwing chairs and body slamming each other and shit.
I mean, when you don't have weapons, you gotta pick the objects around you.
Yeah, I'm cool on that.
Also, pathogens. That's my thing. I'm like, you can keep your illness. I'm good. I'll stay home.
Right. I just don't like being around a bunch of people. But nah, something else that needs to be addressed too is the release of criminals who should be serving way more time than they're actually serving. Like I understand there are some people, okay, you get a day, you get out. But if there's somebody who's like breaking and entering into people's property, they probably should not be on house arrest. They probably should not be doing too much. Like,
I think more states need to have that 3 strikes rule where, like, you can some states, like, as long as they're misdemeanors, it doesn't matter. You can commit as many crimes and you'll just go to jail and get out. But I think it's California and a couple other states. If you commit 3 crimes, I don't remember if there's like a standard for what the crime has to be, but basically like after your 3rd strike, you go to prison, and it doesn't matter like what the crime was. It just like if you're showing a tendency to repeatedly commit crimes, and I think it's also within a certain time period too, then they consider like, all right, well, if you're going to keep committing crimes, then you can't be out on the streets. So I feel like we might need to have a system like that, but we also should just improve the system overall, because we also have far too many people being put in prison who aren't guilty. So I think we just need an overhaul in general with how this stuff is being done, because far too many people who shouldn't be out on the streets are out on the streets, and vice versa. Too many people are being taken off the streets that don't belong in jail.
that's a whole fact. That's in the last 2 weeks, I've scrolled and seen 2 people, one black man and one black woman. That black lady spent 31 years of her life in jail for something she didn't do. She got out at the age of 71. And then she ended up passing away in 2013. So she never even got to live at all. She didn't even get any type of payback for the years they took from her. The black man, he served, I believe it was like 50 years. He's in a wheelchair. They gave him like $3 million and said, all right, go on about your way. But the woman that was 16 at the time lied and she didn't get any time for that. So an overhaul is definitely due. We need it immediately. There's no way in the world we have the power to execute and call it. It's execution when it's under the law, but it's murder when it's on the street. So you got the power to take somebody's life, but you don't have the capacity to determine or assess a reasonable time frame of how much a person is supposed to deal with, or how long they're supposed to be behind steel walls. That's crazy. Now this man is a homeless person. Oh, I didn't even mention the fact that they tried to raise a GoFundMe. Matter of fact, they started a GoFundMe for this man. Now GoFundMe canceled it. All right, but they started a GoFundMe for him, and he was getting. I have no idea how that happens. None. But people were putting money in his account to whoever did that stupid shit. You're the problem. That's all I'm gonna say. You're definitely the problem. You're probably the type of people who will allow murderers and killers to walk around free and then get mad at everybody else for wanting them in prison. You're definitely covering up for some people. You got some dirt on folks. But yeah, GoFundMe caught it. They shut it down. But my whole thing is,
I'm glad they did.
That's crazy. Let a regular, normal person be in need of help. Ain't nobody coming to help them.
Like, meanwhile, there are people like this little girl who had a GoFundMe started because the insurance company denied her the prosthetic limb that she was going to get to replace the limb that she lost due to, I think, cancer. And so she got a GoFundMe and she raised the money, and she ended up giving the money to another kid who couldn't afford his own prosthetic arm. And then we have people that are trying to do a GoFundMe for a literal killer. Cool.
Yo, we backwards. We are hella backwards. That's why we need more conversations like this to happen. I absolutely hate the fact that this woman had to die. She lost her life she was just riding the train. Like, you never really know at all. You got to stay prayed up at all times. Imagine leaving a country that's getting bombed on. You sleep in your bed, all you hear is boom, boom, boom. You don't know if that's going to hit you. Like, I done looked at Palestine and some of these other places, and they're walking around in nothing but rubble. Literal rubble. But you managed to get away from that. You think you're about to start over. That's sad, man. I still got a heart. I don't know about nobody else. I still, like, that shit fucked me up. And then I'm looking and seeing people just ignoring it and acting like they don't know what's going on. Somebody's literally getting stabbed right there. You can't hear the sounds of that shit. You can't hear this woman probably gasping, probably asking, hoping somebody. She was scared as hell. She had to be. You heartless bastards. I fucking hate some of y'all sometimes, man. I don't mean, I don't hate, but it's like, give me my passport. Let me get the hell out of this country, man. Y'all greedy, y'all selfish. All you think about is yourself. You don't really care about humans at all. Y'all allowed the government to fuck y'all up. You allowed sin to fuck y'all up. You allowed this image of what social media to completely rot in your brain.
It's also sad that as stuff like this continues to happen more, we're going to become more desensitized to stuff like this because we're going to get used to hearing stories like we're talking about. And that is something that we can't allow ourselves to do. We can't allow it to become the norm because that is how countries devolve into becoming a third world nation. It's when not only can people not afford to live there, so the majority of people are deeply poor, but also people are going to be more complacent to everything that is happening around them. They're going to accept it as normal, as unchangeable, and as something they can't pull themselves out of and need somebody else to do, or that it's impossible for them to do. And so they get disenfranchised, disempowered. And we cannot allow our country to get like that. We are definitely going in that direction, but we can't because once you disempower a country, you lose a tremendous amount of the empathy that exists within the community members because most people are going to be in survival mode. And once everyone is in survival mode, it's very hard for others to start caring about those around them because they're more concerned that they're not going to have their needs met for themselves and their kids. So we have to really stop it where we're at and reverse what we're doing. We're very much damaging the fabric of our own society and breaking down the sense of humanity that we used to have for people. So we have to start treating these. This is the one thing that I agree with her on. We have to start treating them again like the tragedies that they are. We have to start giving more compassion to the victims and stop giving compassion and GoFundMes to the perpetrators. We can't allow ourselves to dehumanize the people around us just because we're being so widely politicized and all the stuff that's happening right now. I don't even know what to call it, but we can't let ourselves give in to the madness that is currently intoxicating a large section of our population because the racism, the bigotry, the violent hatred is going to hurt all of us. It's not just going to affect the poorest or the most decrepit human beings. It's going to affect all of us. So we really should start taking care of each other.
Yeah, bro. I hate seeing stuff like that. I do. The way I was brought up, you wanted to be a part of this history. You wanted to be somebody in this country. You were proud to be an American. G.I. Joe, Captain Planet. Like, there were shows that I grew up on that always painted America to be this united, beautiful place to live at. But then, like, the older you get, the more that you're introduced to, the more indoctrinations, the more lies, the more media press and propaganda you slowly but surely begin to understand how nasty and how ugly it can be, how cutthroat it can be. And the truth is, it's humans doing it to other humans. I say this all the time as well. It's not like it's a robot. We can't blame this on aliens. It's like somebody just flew in from another part of the universe and started assassinating all of the people and turned them against each other. Nah, we doing it to ourselves systematically. And like you said, Sydney, it's going to take us, the ones who still have a heart, to actually still care and consider neighbors as neighbors and not just people that live next door to you. Recreating tribes, community gatherings and meetings, leaders of the street, and having those setups where y'all can talk about what you want to do to keep. We don't have that no more. They at the top, they ain't thinking about it. So we got to think about it. Where's your real faith at? And what if this was your daughter or your mom or your sister or something? And then on top of that, social media gets a hold of the video and everybody is clipping it. Everybody is talking about it. You enjoy your night. Just imagine you being in a position where you got to look at that on the news and you got to be constantly reminded that it's us who didn't do nothing about it. Do you know how angry, how hurt, and how like fucked up I would be? Like I'm literally looking at my sister getting stabbed to death, and I see a bunch of you bitch ass niggas up here just sitting there doing nothing. You're just watching. You know how I would be so done with everybody here in this country. Fuck your taxes, fuck these bills, fuck the medicine, fuck the judiciary system, all of it. I would absolutely get the fuck out of this country. I wouldn't want no part of it. I understand why Colin Kaepernick did what he did. Like this right here is nasty. Absolutely nasty. It's not even nothing to debate. And then the fact that you would even have a GoFundMe for this, that's weird. And you had a judge who wasn't even qualified to even be a Wusa. What do you think is going to happen moving forward? Do you think they're going to really do anything with this?
I personally think it's going to get worse over time because I do not believe that we have a government that cares about us right now. So I don't really think that there's going to be an improvement in the near future. I also think that just as a society, we're kind of heading in the wrong direction with or without our politicians' help. So yeah, I don't really think that things are going to get better. That being said, we shouldn't not try. I think that we as a community should still stick together, should still find our way in a way that, or find our way that allows us to keep our humanity and our kindness for each other. Because despite how bad it could get, it's still very much important that we stick together because humans do rely on each other. And historically, humans have made it this far because we have stuck together and we have joined together to overcome tremendous obstacles. So I think we just need to somehow have some sort of breakthrough and realize that we're only harming ourselves by not helping people based on what they look like or how they act or whatnot. Like, we obviously, I'm not condoning crimes, but we cannot abandon the people in our society just because they're from a different country or just because they have a mental illness or just because they don't have a place to live. We need to start respecting people as people, individuals, rather than as their value being dependent on the group that they're from. We are going to have it much more difficult, I think, into the future, which is, again, why it's so important that we continue to stick together and find the little bit of humanity that we have remaining, and actually use it.
But this was a touchy one, a very touchy one. My thoughts and prayers go out to everybody affected by this senseless crime. My concern and like my antennas are raised a little higher for people who are mentally going through and they don't have the proper access to the level of help that they should be getting. Mental health is extremely important. Getting people the proper help needs to have more focus on. We got too many people on the street that could hit. All right, these are my final thoughts. Just like this man was homeless, there's thousands of other people that's probably similar to him in some way. Maybe not to his extreme. They might be borderline. Like, you don't know a person's pressure points. We need to be more careful and aware of who we are around. Don't, like, yeah, he did what he did. And he should be held accountable 100%. But couldn't this have been prevented? I think it could have.
In a broad sense, yes. I don't think individually, no. I don't think you can ever cure people from committing murders, but I think in some ways you could.
Right. Like, what I'm saying is, like, you can, if you can't keep them behind bars, you can put them in psych ward. You can put them in a place where they're going to get the help. You want to help people according to their illnesses, whether or not it's a medical illness or it's something else. There's infrastructures for everything. They might not be in abundance, but you have them. Use them. And on top of that, like you said earlier, we need more. Why are you building townhouses, apartments, when you could be actually building something for people that need them? That don't make no sense to me either. That's how I know this country is just greedy and money hungry. But I digress. If you want to add anything before we get up out of here, the floor is yours. Shout out to Arcana, Adrian, everybody who tapped in tonight. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. Yeah. It's sad. Like I'm never going to get used to somebody dying or losing their life over ignorance.
Mm-hmm. Especially when it's senseless. There was no reason at all. No bad blood. He didn't even know her. I also one thing that you said made me think of something else that she had said. One comment that I wanted to push back on that she had mentioned was that they have schizophrenia. I don't remember exactly what her phrasing was, but she said that something about all like homeless people having schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is very, very, very rare. I think only like 1% or less of the population actually have true schizophrenia. And it's also very easily managed as long as you have the right medication and the right care. And very few people with schizophrenia actually commit like violent crimes. They can have violent outbursts, but it's very rare that they actually kill people. And also, it's not all homeless people have schizophrenia. There are some, but there are people with schizophrenia that live perfectly healthy, happy lives. Schizophrenia is not a death sentence. I just wanted to throw that out there because that is one stigma that persists that I always want to address, is that like schizophrenia and a lot of these mental illnesses do not incapacitate you in the way that movies make it seem. Like you're not crazy and unable to like make sense of the world. It's only like episodes, in the same way like that in puberty or something, like you have flare-ups. The other thing, I had a poem that I thought would be really fitting. It was not written by me, but it was written by written by Dudley Randall in 1963. This refers to the bombing of the church in Birmingham, Alabama, and it's called Ballad of Birmingham. So just a warning to people that might be more emotionally sensitive. This might be a little bit hard to hear, but I thought it was very fitting given the topic. All right, so Ballad of Birmingham. Mother dear, may I go downtown instead of out to play and march the streets of Birmingham in a freedom march today? No, baby, no, you may not go. For the dogs are fierce and wild, and clubs and hoses, guns and jails aren't good for a little child. But mother, I won't be alone. Other children will go with me and march the streets of Birmingham to make our country free. No, baby, no, you may not go, for I fear those guns will fire. But you may go to church instead and sing in the children's choir. She has combed and brushed her night dark hair, and bathed rose petals sweet, and drawn white gloves upon her small brown hands, and white shoes upon her feet. The mother smiled to know her child was in a sacred place. That smile was the last smile to come upon her face. For when she heard the explosion, her eyes grew wet and wild. She raced through the streets of Birmingham, calling for her child. She clawed through bits of glass and brick, then lifted out a shoe. Oh, here's the shoe my baby wore, but baby, where are you? I thought this exemplified the fear that can persist in society as a result of this type of rise in violence. And I've also seen a lot of parallels between what we experienced in the 60s versus what we experience now. So I thought this would be a very fitting poem to end with that would also reflect that solemn nature of this event.
I love it. Proper way to close out the show. Absolutely, 1000%. Blessings to everybody here. Maybe you're at work, maybe you're preparing to start your next shift. Whatever it is, hug your loved ones tighter. be a little more considerate of the people that are around you that might not have it like you have it. Let's treat each other a little more kind. Drive safe. Don't let the world destroy you. Don't let the world take what little humanity we got left. You hear me?
Turn your pain into art and not violence.
That's a bar. Look, man, we about to get up out of here. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. If you want to join us on further conversations moving forward, you already know the link is in my bio. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter, IG. I'm everywhere. Tap in with us. Same time, same place. Tomorrow is Sydney's segment. I'm going to be on tomorrow morning for the morning show. So make sure you tap in, like, share, subscribe. It's free. It only takes a second. If you enjoy what we do, we constantly in motion over here on this side of the internet. Outside of that, we about to get up out of here. Do me a solid before you
Don't
go.
forget to vote.
Oh yeah, please. The fact that we even got him again is crazy to me. But do me a solid before y'all go.
What's the goddamn button?
You heard me. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night. If you need to reach out to me, you know where I'm at. Peace.